Welcome to the Blueprint Athletes Basketball Podcast. My name is John Horford. Here today with, well, first, if you've ever heard the story of Robert Johnson going to the crossroads and selling his soul to the devil for amazing guitar skills, you might know that, or you might want to know that Josh did something similar.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Would you like to?
Nah, let's hear it.
What?
You know all about it. Let's hear it.
Dude, I know you went to those crossroads.
Okay.
And I know you sold your soul for 25 cents. True or false?
No comment.
Oh my gosh. All right. I know it's less fun when we use like inside jokes you guys have no idea about, but we have fun doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe our fun is enough for you guys, or maybe you've already turned the podcast off because you're like, screw this.
Yeah.
And that's okay too.
Just know 25 cents is all it takes.
25 cents to see God. All right. So today's episode, we're going to talk about how players can have a positive impact on their team without playing a single minute. Like no playing time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It doesn't even have to be on the court, like during a game or anything.
No, it doesn't even have to be on the court. Right? Like literally, we'll probably talk about like limited playing time as well. But we'll also literally talk about like how you can have a positive impact without playing a single minute. Right? So first, so many players get, so caught up in feeling like they need to be like the star player that they don't realize that not everyone can be the star player, right? You have to have roles on teams, and that's just the way it is, and we've talked about it before. But when you're not in one of those roles where you're, where you're literally not even getting any minutes, right? Some of the ways that you can come in and have like an immediate impact, I would say first we have to talk about, practice, right? In college especially, and I guess at really good high schools too, they have like what they call like a scout team, right? So a team to literally imitate what your next opponent is going to do, like run their main sets, so you can get used to guarding it, right?
Right.
And at the teams, at least the teams that I've played for, right, in college, like scout team is so, so important. And it's normally comprised mostly of people like walk-ons or people who won't play, or people who are like coming back from injury but still not ready to play, right? Scout team players normally don't get many minutes, if any minutes at all, but they're so valuable when it comes to actually like running hard. They could be upset, they could be mad, they could, half-ass everything. But when a scout team is like locked in and like super competitive, and literally like, we're going to run these sets as well as that team or better, and we're going to bust your ass, it makes the team so much better because you have to play at that higher level.
Yep.
Right? And if you don't, they're literally going to bust your ass. Like, at Michigan specifically, and not there wasn't any at Florida, but I just have more memories from Michigan. There were scout team players that, like, dude, they could give you work any day of the week.
Yeah, I believe it.
Like I talked about, and there's a bunch of them too. But one of my friends that I still, and not that they're not all like my friends, but the guy I still talk to the most actually from Michigan, Esso Okune, and I've talked about him like once before I think on here. But there were days where if you walked into the Michigan gym and saw us all playing and you didn't know, but you knew basketball, but you didn't know players, you wouldn't know who like the star point guard was. Was it Esso or was it Trey Burke? Like he was literally busting ass.
That's crazy.
Dude, a killer, and such a nice guy. But like you just wouldn't know. Like, and Dude, there are other players like that I can think of that would just like be on scout team and just be like killing, like Matt Bogrich, who was just a great shooter, or Blake McClymans would he would do a great job killing. If I didn't mention Corey, he'd be, and he ever listened to this, he'd be pissed. But Corey did his thing too sometimes.
Yeah.
Corey Peoples from Kalamazoo. It's not his name.
I know.
Yeah. But but dude, no, but it's seriously, scout team is so important, and they don't, and unfortunately, they don't get the credit that they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get the recognition, but without them, teams like we wouldn't have won the championships that we won. We wouldn't have gotten as far as we got, for sure. Like, I'm certain of it. It's so important to constantly be challenged and to be competitive and to be pushed, right? And to face that adversity, and then, just to like get used to those sets and stuff.
All right.
And a lot of players can't humble themselves enough to fully accept that role. But the ones that do, like, I think coaches, and sometimes they do a pretty good job of it, but I mean, it's a pretty thankless job.
Yeah.
But it's so necessary, right? So necessary. And then, even in like drills, players who, let's say, like players who don't play, I think one of the best things they can do is to work on their game all the time. One, because they're trying to earn spots. And I've seen players, like every team I've been on in college, like every year, like a walk-on earned scholarship, I feel like, so it's absolutely possible.
All right.
Right? Absolutely possible. But to constantly push players in, drills or sprints or anything like that, so they don't get like complacent and, talk a little shit. Like, if someone's like going half-assed through, kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Kill them in that drill. Kill them. Destroy them.
All right.
Right? Make them turn it on. Because there are always going to be days where you don't want to practice as hard, or, you're going through whatever, because like life is life. But to have someone there to like hold you accountable in the sense that like, hey, if you don't step it up, I'm going to bust your ass. Super important.
All right.
Super important.
Yeah, every team needs a couple of those guys.
Dude, every team needs a couple of those guys. And then it's also, I think it's super valuable for them to almost be like an extension of the coach on the bench,
Mm-hmm.
right? And, and I've even, been in this role, especially, like, I've had a very injury-prone career. So there have been years where I've, like, sat out completely from playing. And, I've tried to adopt that in terms of just, like, reiterating what the coach had said in the huddle.
Right.
Or, you could be, like, if we're switching to, like, in-game stuff a little bit more, it could literally be like calling out sets. Like, you see a play coming from the other team, like, oh, they're about to run this, like, watch the back screen and the flare screen on the other side, or
Right.
or that they know the play and you call it out, whatever that play is.
Yeah.
Or realizing that someone on your team doesn't know the play and they look a little lost, and yelling at them like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is what you got to do, like, or just, communicating certain things, or, let them know that you have a timeout, or how many fouls, or whatever it may be. Like, there are so many different ways to bring value, like just being a good teammate, cheering your teammates on, supporting them,
Yeah.
and it seems like, and some players are like, it seems super demeaning, and, it is, and it's annoying sometimes. And, I've had times where like I've absolutely, like I said, been in that role and just hated it. Like, one time that still makes me cringe, Kenny Atkinson, who's the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets, he was coaching summer league team I was playing on, and it was a game that I didn't play, and I didn't play that much in that summer league at all. And it was a game I didn't play at all, but I was, just trying to be a good teammate, and I don't do it, and I'm not like the type, I don't want you to like, I don't want recognition for it or anything like that, but like, he stopped film and like pointed out that, I was like the only one on the bench that was like supporting his other teammates and like
Mm-hmm.
standing up and clapping and, hitting guys' hands, like, even though we were like getting our ass beat or whatever.
All right.
And I like cringe. I wanted to punch him in the face because I hated it.
Yeah.
So it's like, one, I'm not doing that stuff for that reason. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And almost because it's like, it would be nice if people would do that if the roles were reversed,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I know those guys are just trying to like do the best that they can, and they're trying to get their opportunities or whatever it may be. But I feel like those things matter also because if you're doing those things, typically you're not doing like the negative stuff that causes teams to crumble from within.
All right.
Like on the bench, constantly talking shit.
Yeah, sulking.
Like talking shit about players, sulking, having a bad attitude, not listening. So if like your number is called, you're not ready.
All right.
Right. So it's just, there are just little things that you can do that, help to propel the team forward rather than, hold the team back. And it's like we've been saying, it's such, you have to have such a level of humility to put yourself in that role, and you have to think about it in a different way. So the way I used to explain it to kids who would talk to me about it, I explain it like, think about the team as like a car, right? There's the engine, there's like the sleek interior, there's the body of the car, and then there's like, the windshield wipers. And it's like you got to think about guys who don't play. It's like you're like the windshield wipers. What I used to tell them. And it's like no one's ever like, oh man, like windshield wipers. Like, yo, I love those windshield. Man, those are some dope windshield wipers. Like, but if you're in a storm and it's raining, downpouring, and your windshield wipers don't work, or you don't have windshield wipers, dude, you're gonna crash and die probably.
Yeah, you're shit out of luck,
dude. Seriously, like it's such a small thing. But it's necessary. Not always necessary, but someday, occasionally, it is necessary. And if you don't have it, you gotta either stop, or you gotta keep going, and you're probably gonna die.
Yeah,
like
it's a good way to put it. I guess
it's a little extreme, but like it gets the point across. Like you don't think that you're important, but you are important, right? And I feel like it's on coaches to, value those players a little bit more. Not in the sense that like, like I was saying, like I personally like hate being like, oh, you do such a great job of, clapping.
Right. You don't want to look for praise just because you're doing the right thing.
It's not that, but just letting them know like in a genuine way, like maybe just going up to them, after a game or something, not around everyone even necessarily. And just like, hey, like I really appreciate, you having a really good attitude. Like it's contagious and, and it gives me a way to tell the other guys like, you're on the court bitching and moaning, and you're playing 30 minutes a game,
right?
And blah 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 is on the bench, being a great teammate, calling out the plays, cheering, paying attention, like, and he's not playing a single minute. Like, how selfish can you be?
Right.
Like, he would kill to be in your position, right? So you're giving like coaches ammo, right, to be better coaches as well. So coaches have to find like a balance to make it, work both ways,
right?
And like we said earlier, just because you're in that role doesn't mean that you can't get out of that role. You can absolutely get out of that role. It's like, make sure you communicate with coaches. Coach, hey, I wanna earn a bigger role. What do I need to do this season, or what do I need to do this off season?
Right.
What skills do I have to develop? What do I have to be able to do to be able to get in the game? Right. And then, like we also mentioned earlier, just staying ready, because I feel like there are times when, players, and who's not guilty of this, like, just kind of like check out a little bit mentally. And then for whatever reason, the coach is like, you're up, like, go.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you ready when your name's called?
Yeah, I had teammates who would like untie their shoes, put their warm up on. Coaches like at the end of the game, like get in, and look down there and they see them like that. And it's like, never mind, stay your ass on the bench.
Yeah, for sure. And
you just look dumb.
Yeah, and that definitely has happened to me before. The last time it happened to me, actually, I was playing for Canton. And because I had to wear this, if you ever see me play, I have to wear this big ass brace on my knee, because my kneecap will come out of place sometimes, and it's pretty painful. And every time it comes out, I have to chill for a month. So it was like the end of a game in Canton. I'd been injured. It was my second year in Canton. I'd been injured the whole year pretty much. So I've barely played. And so I was just chilling, and it was the end of a game. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to go in. Like I haven't played in a game in like weeks. So I took my brace off, chilling, and like Nate looks over. He's like, John, go.
Of course.
And I was just like, oh my God. And I wasn't like having a bad attitude or anything, but I just wasn't ready. I took that brace off, and I'm just like, and it takes like a minute to put on. So it's like, I just like looked at him, was like pointing at my knee, and he was just like, "Oh, never mind." Never
Okay.
mind. And we were cool about it. He was cool about it, kind of, I guess. I don't know. Maybe he was more upset about it than he would care to admit. But he was a pretty chill guy, and I
Right.
literally hadn't played in so long, and I didn't expect to play. I had that brace on, and it's not comfortable to wear.
Right.
And it was the end of the game. I took it off, and it was just like, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, that's my excuse. Like, I should have kept my brace on.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I was just like, damn it.
Yeah.
Like, no.
That's tough.
It's like, but I mean, that's just the way it is sometimes. So
Right.
yeah. But can you think of any other ways that like players can? I know there are ways that we're missing, like ways that players can bring value. And
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you're not playing a lot, like you don't have as much to like worry about, like come like game time or anything. So maybe when you guys are in study hall, like, help out some of the better players with their homework or something like that. Like hold the guys accountable. I don't know. I was ineligible for a while, so I had to like, get on top of my shit and look out for the other guys. And I mean, just try to make some sort of impact in some way when you literally can't play.
for sure. Another, and this isn't like coaches are gonna like hate to hear this, especially like if they were like on the college level or pro level, but guys that know that they're not gonna play much, you're like you said, there is more freedom, and as long as you're like still doing your job and being a good teammate, like I think it's good, and you're not gonna play much, but like it gives you more freedom to like live more of a life, because like when you have to play a lot, you have to take care of your body more. So when you're not playing, like you can honestly go out more, you can stay up later.
All right. Oh my
I'm
God.
not like necessarily saying like, this is what you have to do, but I'm just saying like it's just a reality of it. Like at Michigan, straight up, like, and especially the year that my sophomore year, I got a medical red shirt because I broke my foot. Dude, so I was scout team that whole year. Dude, come on, we definitely partied more.
Yeah.
But we still did our job.
Yeah.
Like we still showed up, we still went hard, we still put in extra time, we did everything that we had to do. But we knew that we weren't going to have that added stress, like physically and mentally and emotionally, of having to play extended minutes or play at all. For me, I knew I wasn't going to play at all that year.
All right.
So like we could actually have more of a life. We could sleep a little bit less. We could go out a little bit more. And I mean, it's a privilege that a lot of college athletes never really get.
All right.
To have that full college experience. So there are positives and negatives to it. And I know like some of the guys like on the team loved it that way. Like they loved being on the team.
Yep.
They loved maybe occasionally playing a few minutes.
Yeah.
But they knew that they didn't have to be in like peak shape or like completely rested.
Right. The game's not gonna lie on your shoulders, rest on your
Yes,
shoulders. Like
exactly. So and they did their job, and you would never know. And they'd
Right.
show up, and they'd be great teammates and great in the locker room, and go hard when they had to. And they were able to balance it, and it was just like that's just the life. So it's just a different way of looking at it,
All right.
right? And there are always going to be people on teams who are going to be in positions like that. So just shifting your perspective, shifting the way that you look at it, can create a whole new experience,
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
So
It's definitely a good way to look at it.
it is, and I'm not advising, I'm not advising for, I guess, or against, but I had fun. It was. I mean, it's life.
All
Dude.
right.
You got to experience it. You got to have fun, and you can't be too serious. Like I know we talk about like you got to work out more. You got to be more strong. But like there's still ways to work on your game, lift, eat well, and like still have fun and go out. Like finding a balance for everything is so key. And the balance is different for everybody. So I just think, I guess just to go back to the, players not playing stuff, I just think that players should find a way to not look at it in such a negative light and just find the positive in the situation,
Yeah.
right? Make the best of the situation. And it might turn out even better than you thought it would, right? Another thing, just academically, I guess, for college especially, I guess, I don't know. No, I was going to say it, but I guess it's not necessarily true. But I feel like some of the guys that were like walk-ons, if they wanted to, and not that guys that were playing couldn't, but it's just more difficult. You can, you know, do like a more difficult like college major,
Oh yeah.
right? Like a more time-consuming, challenging college major. I feel like I don't know. It's just I feel like you could, and that's just the way that I think about it. And they might not think about it that way,
Yeah.
but there is like a certain level of like pressure and stress when you know that you might have to, you know, perform for whatever a specific amount of time or
Right.
whatever it may be, and that pressure and stress like seeps into like every like corner of your life, right? So to not have that, there's like a certain element of freedom, right? Like, I don't know. And maybe I'm off base and people wouldn't agree with that, but I just feel like that's, if I was in that position, I would have felt that way
Yeah.
personally, right? So I can't speak for anyone else, but that's how I would have felt personally. So do you think there's anything that we like missed that we should touch on in terms of, you know, ways that players can have an impact when it comes to, you know, not playing?
Dude, just honestly, just being the best person you can be.
Yeah, but you should be the best person you could be, even if you're playing. You should try to be.
I know,
Right.
but it's hard to when you're not. You're salty.
That's true. It is. It is. And so really just changing that perspective and trying to see it in a different light, and then
Right.
also working towards, you know, earning the position that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else though?
No, I think you bringing up balance was, really
Wow.
well said.
Yeah, balance is good, but I feel like there's something that we're missing. All right, hey, we can touch on this topic again. If there's something that we're missing, if you know the thing that is in my head but won't present itself to my conscious mind, reach out, let us know. We need help sometimes. This actually was like an episode that we were supposed to do a different episode, but then we decided that we wanted to do a little bit more research on the topic. So we just like threw this one together. So we have no bullet points, and we're kind of just going off the top of the head at the last minute. So if we miss things, I know we miss things, reach out, blueprint.athletes@gmail, or preferably blueprint.athletes@Instagram. Message us. Let us know. If you have questions, ask. If there's anything we can do to help, ask. Anything else, Josh?
No, not that I can think of.
All right. Hey, be a good teammate, regardless of your position. Playing a million minutes, be a good teammate. You're playing no minutes, be a good teammate. And if you can't, quit. Go do something else. Stop wasting your life. Right? Life's too short to be miserable all the time. Truly. You good?
Great.
I'm good. This has been the Blueprint Athletes Basketball Podcast. Thanks for listening.